Alex from Placemeter, and we're going to talk a little bit about smart cities, smart homes, essentially smart spaces. So, welcome, Alex.
Thank you. Hi everybody. Thanks, Vanessa.
So, let's start off by just letting the audience know a little bit more about Placemeter, the idea behind it, and the product offering.
Sure. So Placemeter was founded in 2012. The big idea then was I was realizing that our cities were growing really fast, and there was a lot of need to optimize the way they work, right? And this is still a pretty big constraint on cities, right? The average size of a city in the next 30 years is going to double. The whole world population growth is going to be absorbed by cities in the next 30 years. So it's really massive transformational changes that are happening in our cities. So we need to rebuild them. We need to make them evolve. We need to make them fit for that huge human influx that they're gonna go through. And that implies being able to measure what's happening, right? If you want to optimize the way things work, you need to understand how they work, and you need to measure the impact of what you do and A/B test. And so the measurement part is very important. So the idea of Placemeter was to say, okay, we'll build a simple sensor that can measure activity, everything you need to detect in the city. So cars, bicycles, pedestrians, their speed, their trajectory. We'll build that, we'll use video, because video is an expensive sensor that we can scale. And we'll embed some computing power and some sensors in a little box, and we'll spread that box everywhere. And that will basically fill in that big gap of data that we need about how cities move about. So we raised a couple of rounds of capital, including one with NEA. And we built that sensor, we built that backend, and we sold a bunch of these sensors. And we eventually got acquired by Netgear last year. So it's kind of a different world now.
That makes sense. So will you tell us a little bit about how cities were using this data?
Yeah, sure. So for example, we had a great project going on in Paris. Paris they invested, I think, $10 billion in redesigning their major plazas, right? Again, to make sure that they're more pedestrian friendly, and priority is more on people than on cars, because that's the only way you can grow cities, right? So it's a lot of money that's being invested, and these 7 plazas that they wanted to redesign, they started with the first one, Place de la République. They did it the old school way, so they hired engineers, urban designers. These guys made a big blueprint, and they implemented that new plan. And the plaza looks better, but if you look at the actual numbers, it didn't change anything, right? It's still the same number of pedestrians, it was not made more pedestrian friendly. It's kind of a failure from a functional standpoint. So for the second plaza, they decided to go a different way. They decided to do it the way you design the software or backend, right? So to be very data-driven and A/B testing different kind of scenarios. So they imagined 7 scenarios to improve the way that plaza works. So basically bring more pedestrians at the center of the plaza, make sure they spend time there, make sure it becomes an area where people interact, a real area of life in the city. And so the first thing they did is install 25 of our sensors around the plaza and to measure baseline. After a month, they started implementing some temporary changes. So using movable barriers. So they narrowed down the side of the street, they blocked one sidewalk, or they made it wider, and they A/B tested different aspects of their model there. And so that's still going on right now. At the end of that project, they will have validated or invalidated several assumptions, and they will build the best possible scenario for that plaza. And hopefully it's going to be a lot more effective than without the data. So that's just an example to show you that to grow our cities and to make them fit for what they need to handle today, you have to be data-driven, and that creates a big need for that kind of technology.
That's really interesting. So what do you think the state of smart cities are today, and what do you think it'll take for it to go mainstream?
Yeah, so there was a big I would say a little bubble around smart cities, I would say around 2012, 2014, when we realized that there was a lot of technologies that needed to be built for cities. And a lot of startups, but also big companies started to address that little bubble around smart cities. And I think there's still a huge need and huge big transformation that needs to happen. The question is more, is that a startup-friendly environment? Can you really, in the short term, build a big business around smart cities? It's not obvious, right? It's not clear. I think the main question is the financing model of what's happening in cities. Cities are based on very old infrastructure-related financing models, and they're slowly discovering new models now. But it's where the money comes from and what benefit and how you quantify the benefit for a city is not obvious. So we've seen that traction on that field plateauing a little bit. But fortunately, we were not only selling to cities. And by the way, there are some niche applications where we had some good success. For example, business improvement districts that are associations of retailers. They partner to improve the way business is done in a given area of town. So they organize trash pickup, they organize events. And this is a part of the city that where processes are very agile, and it's easy to sell and deploy things pretty quickly. Because you don't fall into the typical procurement process of the city, and there's a real need. So in that field, for example, we had a lot of customers pretty quickly, and I think there's some niche application that are startup friendly. But overall, it's not obvious how a startup can do really well in that field.
So do you think it'll require the niche areas to first get a lot of traction before we see like a mass deployment across an entire city?
Yes, I think it's also, now there's a slightly different angle on smart cities. I think now it's more around mobility. Mobility is an area of the city where there's no infrastructure. It's moving vehicles, right? So you can reinvent things pretty easily. And it directly impacts the way the city works in a pretty massive way. So right now there's more focus on that because it's easier to deploy and be creative on that. When you need to build a plaza, we need to, build real things. It naturally takes time. It's expensive, so the procurement process is long, and so.
So then there's smart homes. Mm-hmm. So you go from selling to big cities and governments to selling to an individual consumer use case in the home. Do you think that that's going to go more quickly than adoption for smart spaces?
Yeah, great question. I mean, this is all the same thing that's happening, right? Our world is being instrumented. We're measuring everything, the physical world around us at a rapid pace. So in the home, it's happening in a very rapid way. I mean, for the past 3 years, 4 years, there's been a bunch of interesting companies coming up. It started with Simply Safe, I think, in 2014. That was funded by Sequoia for $57 million. And then more recently, Ring.com raised a lot of money. Nest is back on track after a lot of internal issues, and of course Netgear is very aggressive in the field. I think what's happening today is that people are ditching their old school alarm systems like ADT that are based on subscription, and somebody that picks up the phone and calls the cops for you or calls you to see if you're okay, and based on old school sensors on your windows. This is going away, and what's replacing it is DIY alarm systems where you set up your own sensors that was Simply Safe, or the camera is going to do everything. That's what Nest or Dropcam and Netgear are doing. So it starts from very security and safety application standpoint, but it expands to other things, right? So once you have a camera in a house, there's a lot of things you can measure, right? So is your baby crying? Is your teenage son back home after school? There's a lot of things you can detect using that camera, and so that these use cases around safety and security are slowly, becoming much more interesting, more global. Smart home and home instrumentation use cases, and there's a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah, now we have Alexa and Google Home, mm-hmm. and smart light bulbs and microwaves, and but I think we're going to need some infrastructure in the home now to support all these devices. How do you see that playing out?
Well, I think that's still the big issue, right? There's no platform that really works for a smart home, right? I mean, SmartThings is a great platform, but it still is one layer above what the typical customer should be seeing. Then there's very single use case devices that work really well. They're easy to set up and install by users. I don't think anyone has yet completely figured out a global system for your home. So obviously Nest is trying to do that. Obviously Netgear is also, we're also on our path to putting out some products that are going in that direction. That's the big challenge. What is going to be the platform to instrument your whole home?
What do you think some of the biggest barriers are for mass adoption for smart home?
Well, it's still complicated to set it up. That's the problem. People don't want to spend their whole weekend setting up a system where they don't know the benefit yet. So one of the reasons why the Arlo camera from Netgear went so well is that there's no setup. It's a battery-powered camera. There's absolutely nothing to set up. You put the batteries in. There's a little magnet behind the camera, so you put it on any metallic part of your home, and that's it. And that's what made a quantum leap in the adoption of these cameras, because there's absolutely no setup.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out how this is going to work for the rest of your home. So we're all scratching our heads for that, but I think we have pretty good ideas.
Yeah, who would have thought user experience matters in
exactly.
every part of adoption?
Mm-hmm.
So just to wrap up here, what are you most excited about with regards to smart spaces?
So I think we are really, last year at the LDV Vision Summit, somebody said that we're less than 10 years away from the fully conscious home. That will be a comprehensive set of sensors and ways to understand what's happening inside the home and to react based on what you're doing, and to adapt to what you're doing in your home. And the home is really going to be an intelligent environment and sort of intelligent being that makes your life easier, right? So, just simple things like taking selfies at the right time where everybody's having fun at your party. There's actually companies working on that, right? A selfie drone that's going to go over your backyard when you're having a barbecue and try to get the